Hello my scholars, welcome to my school channel. My name is Alexandra. Right here we'll be tackling JAMB past questions for the subject Literature in English and the year 2019. Don't go anywhere, stay with us and we'll be right back. Welcome back to my school channel. Right here we'll be tackling question 41 to 60. Now let's begin with question 41. Bayo Adebowale portrayed Yaremi as resilient, self-reliant and strong-willed, particularly to dash. Option A, rebuke African superstitious belief. Option B, represent the image of African traditionalism. Option C, condemn male chauvinism. Option D, demonstrates the plight of widowhood. The answer to this question is option C. Now, this book or this prose is about women or generally widows who are subjected to repression and hostility by custodians of tradition, by the laws of African tradition, in which women are subdued, they are silenced, and they are humiliated. Okay, we see Yaremi, who is a widow, and she's subjected to all of these cruel acts, but then she was able to stand up for herself. She was able to grow beyond this. She was able to gain prominence in the village. And we see the writer tells us that the men of Kufi were angry, if they felt insulted, because no woman has been allowed to grow in a position of prominence in village matters. She was of great influence in the village. So we see that the poet also tells us, particularly in page 89, that men do not like it when their women can talk. They don't like it when their women are impatient. They like women that are patient, that are passive, that are shy, that are timid, that don't ask questions, that do not even know how to make requests. So those are the kind of women the men of Kufi likes. They appreciate. So when anything other than this is evil, is bad, is not good enough. So we see that this is a condemnation of male chauvinism. It's a condemnation of male superiority or male dominance in the text. So option C is the correct answer to this question. Question 42. They are as fearsome as they are fearless is an example of dash. Option A, antithesis. Option B, pun. Option C, oxymoron. Option D, simile. The answer to this question is option A, antithesis. Now, antithesis is putting together two contradictory statements in a sentence to create a contrasting effect, to create a different effect. Okay, when you say they are fearsome, as they are fearless. So we have two contradicting statements here to create a different effect, to tell us that as fearsome as they are, they can also be fearless, okay? So when we talk about pun is a play on word. Pun has a comical effect and it's a play on word. When we say play on word, what does it really mean? It means the multiple meaning of a word. So we don't see that explanation visible in this sentence or in the interpretation of this statement or this question. Oxymoron means placing side by side two contradicting words. So if we have they are as fearsome, fearless, we could call it an oxymoron. But this is not placed side by side. So simile is comparing two things. Okay, it could be two different things, two things from a different class. Okay, so the use of as is an indication that it is simile, and the use of like is an indication that it's simile. But then the way it is used here, it is not used to compare. Okay, it is just a single, is an idea. Okay, two different ideas coming together to tell us something different. Okay, so option A is the correct answer to this question. Question 43. In Albert the Bully, God's supremacy is exemplified through dash. Option A is withholding of the gift of rest. Option B, the insatiable nature of man's need. Option C is unending love for mankind. Option D is blessings of man with many gifts. Now the answer to this question is option A, is withholding of the gift of rest. Okay, this is a very interesting poem about God's supremacy over man, giving man all things except rest. just to ensure or establish the continuity of man's worship. Okay, so we see that he gives man all things, but then he holds on to rest. Okay, so option A, therefore, is the correct answer to this question. Question 44. The fair breeze blew, the white foam flew, the fury followed free. We were the first that ever burst into that silent sea. Okay, the dominant figure of speech in the above passage is option A, alliteration, option B, repetition, option C, paradox, option D, rhyme scheme. Now the answer to this question is alliteration. Okay, the question says the dominant figure of speech. We could find repetition, or we could create a rhyming scheme for this excerpt. You could find paradox in this excerpt, but then the dominant figure of speech is alliteration, because alliteration is present all through. Now let's look at the first line. The fair breeze blew. Alliteration is the repetition of initial consonant sounds, okay, within a line. Okay, so the first line we have B, the sound B. Breeze blew. We have foam flew, followed free, we were, silent sea. Okay, so we have them all through the extract of the poem. So option A is the correct answer to this question. Question 45. Aronos, the anvil, and the hammer is best described as A/and dash. Option A, free verse. Option B, blank verse. Option C, ode. Option D, apologue. Now the answer to this question is free verse. Now this poem, you'll notice that this poem was written freely. Okay, when we talk about free verse is a name given to a poem that does not have strict meters. They don't follow any metrical pattern. They don't have a rhyming scheme, so it is written freely. When we talk about blank verse, we're talking about a poem that is written in iambic pentameter. Okay, so the answer to this question is option A, free verse. Don't forget to take practice questions with our simulated JAMB CBT past questions. All you need to do is click on the link in the description below. It takes you to my school website. There you can download my school mobile app for your Android phones or my school software for your computers and laptops. Go ahead and download and start practicing this question. Now moving on to question 46. Read the poem and answer question. Now the question is, the theme of the poem is dash. Option A, drought and heat. B, abomination and retribution. Option C, sickness and disease. Option D, famine and disease. The answer to this question is abomination and retribution. Now let's look at the poem. Let's study the poem. Let's analyze the poem. At dawn must I rise to till the rock that our land has turned into. Now the first line says, at dawn we rise. Okay, at the first light of the day we rise up to till what? To till the rock. Now that seems like an impossible thing to do, a very strenuous and hard thing to do, to till a rock. We know we till the ground. Okay, we cultivate, we prepare the ground. So tilling a rock it's somehow. Okay, then we look at, this is a run-on, a continuation of the first line, that our land has turned into. So we see that the land, actually there was a land and it turned into a rock. Okay, so let's move to the third line. The line whereon we would gleefully harvested paddy. So this is like, once upon a time we used to have a land and we joyfully harvest. So gleeful means here joyfully. Okay, we were happy with our lands and we were harvesting happily. Okay, things were going on smoothly. Okay, planted and nurtured and tended on plots marshy. So this gives us a picture that, okay, once upon a time they were happy times, until now we have to rise up early in the morning to till the rock. Okay, so our woes are bloody woes of our cursed vengeance. Okay, now we are getting the picture of what the problem is. We see that their sufferings are bloody sufferings of our cursed vengeance. Okay, of the land spirit. Now the land spirit is avenging. Now why is the land spirit revenging? Okay, what happened? What did they do? Aggrieved by paltry human respect. So the land spirit is angry because the people there is little value for human respect. So what exactly did they do? Let's go on. For the life of fellow man by fellow, kindred blood as counted for less than no value. Okay, this is a continuation of the next line. It's a run-on. Okay, so for the life of fellow man by his fellow kindred blood as counted for less than no value. So we see that this is killing. This is murder. So people have been killing themselves. Kindred here means relatives. There's been bloodshed, so the land spirit is angry. Let's go further. Brother's wife has been wife to another brother's brother. Now we see adultery taking place. We see abomination taking place here again. Okay, we see killing the first, then abomination, adultery. Now communal loot has emptied our country silos. So we have a picture of a group of people, maybe thieves or bandits, stealing from their own country, forming a group to steal from their place. Okay, to steal from their nation, to steal from their own resources. These are resources meant for them, and still they are taken from it. Okay, silos here means a building where you store grain or you store something. Now the earth has stopped breathing and sighed. So we see the land has stopped breathing. When something stopped breathing, it means it has lost its function. Okay, we have a picture of something negative happening. So the earth has stopped breathing and sighed. So that tears as the moon shed, the earth was crushed at noonday night, and our land has turned to oil rock. Now we see that affliction, disorderliness, sorrow, agony has taken place because of this abomination committed by these people. So we see that the answer to this question is abomination and retribution. Retribution is the punishment for an offense committed as a result of vengeance. Okay, so option B is the correct answer to this question. Do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and tap on the bell notification to get informed as soon as we release the next videos. Question 47. The mood of the poet is one of dash. Option A, loneliness. Option B, hopelessness. Option C, happiness. Option D, recklessness. The answer to this question is hopelessness. Now, why is this so? Now, from the beginning of the poem, you see that the poet is in a state of despair. He is hopeless. There's nothing that can be done to avert the punishment in which the land of the spirit has poured upon them. Okay, so there's nothing they can do. He feels hopeless, in a state of despair. He has given into sadness and is just expressing himself. So option B is the correct answer to this question. Question 48. The earth has stopped breathing and sighed. Illustrate dash. Option A, bathos. Option B, paradox. Option C, climax. Option D, personification. So we can find the statement on line 11. So the earth has stopped breathing and sighed. Okay, this is a personification. Why? Because personification is giving the attributes of a human being to an object or to an abstract idea. So this is personified because stop breathing is an attribute meant for human beings, for animals. Okay, so giving it to earth, which is an inanimate object, is personification. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Question 49. The run-on lines convey the speaker's dash. A, lamentation. B, disappointment. C, defiance. D, indignation. The answer to this question is lamentation. Okay, lamentation is a sorrowful expression. Okay, we can see from the beginning of this text that the writer is actually lamenting. What do we mean by run-on? Run-on is simply the continuation of a speech from one line, from a line to the other. Okay, this is an example. At dawn must I rise to till the rock that our land has turned into. So this second line is a continuation of the first line. Okay, so that it is placed here and it is called run on. Okay, so the idea is not complete until we look at the second line, or we go or read the second line. That is when we get the full concept or the full idea or the full message the writer is trying to pass across. So option A is the correct answer to this question. Question 50. There is a predominance of words associated with dash. Option A, governance. Option B, nature. Option C, nurture. Option D, celebration. The answer to this question is option B, nature. Now, why is this so? We see words used as rock, land, earth, planted, nurture. These are examples of words peculiar to nature. Okay, so option B is the correct answer to this question. Question 51. Which one of the following is not influential to the substance of Hallowell's The Dining Table? Option A, the structure of the poem. Option B, the atmosphere of the poem. Option C, the poetic style. Option D, the setting of the poem. Okay, the answer to this question is the setting of the poem. Do not forget the question says, which of the following is the most influential to the substance of The Dining Table by Hallowell? Now, when we talk about the structure of the poem, we'll be talking about the rhyme, the rhythm, the stanza. When we're talking about atmosphere of the poem, we're talking about the mood or the tone. When we're talking about poetic style, we're talking about, is it a narrative or is it freestyle, is it blank verse? When we're talking about the settings of the poem, we're looking at the time and place. Now, let's look at background check of this poem. Now, this is a poem written by a Sierra Leonean and he's a journalist, okay? It's the poem that gives a record of what the poet witnessed during the Sierra Leonean war, okay? So, it's about the suffering of the people during war. So, we see that the settings, that is the time and the place of the poem is much more relevant to the substance or the structure of the poem because it has to do with time and place, and we know it is about the Sierra Leone war. Okay, so option D is the correct answer to this question. Question 52. Nightfall, nightfall, you are my mortal enemy. The figurative name for the manner in which nightfall is directly addressed is dash. Option A, allusion. Option B, an ode. Option C, metaphor. Option D, apostrophe. The answer to this question is apostrophe. So apostrophe in literature means to talk to something as though it is present or as though it is living. Okay, so when you talk directly to something as though it is living or a living being. Okay, so nightfall, nightfall, you are my mortal enemy. We are referring to nightfall as though it is present or it's living or you're looking at it face to face. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Question 53. The mood of Diop's vanity is dash. Option A, expressed through rhetorical questions. Option B, condemnation. Option C, expressed through the use of innuendos. Option D, concern. The answer to this question is option A, expressed through rhetorical questions. What are rhetorical questions? Rhetorical questions are questions that do not require answers, okay? They state a fact. Okay, so that's the answer to the question. And we see rhetorical questions in the poem Vanity, such as, who indeed will hear them without laughter? What heart will listen to our clamoring? What ears to our sobbing heart? So these were the rhetorical questions used in the text, and this tells us, this portrays sadness and worry as the general mood felt while reading this poem. And then we look at the tone. When we talk about the tone, we are looking at concern. Okay, the tone is that of concern, but then the mood is a general feeling of sadness and worry, which is expressed through rhetorical questions. So when we talk about innuendos, we are talking about a hint about someone or something. Okay, so the answer to this question is option A, expressed through rhetorical questions. Question 54. Dash is the illustration which serves to persuasively sustain the interest of the readers in a literary piece. Option A, storyline. Option B, narrative hook. Option C, plot. Option D, suspense. Okay, the answer to this question is narrative hook. Narrative hook is that thing, that hook that gets your readers glued to your story. Okay, it arouses one's interest. So when we're talking about narrative hook, we're talking about interest, someone's interest, okay, a person's interest in a story. But then when we look at suspense, suspense is that tension you feel when you don't know what will happen next, okay? It's a mystery, a puzzle, okay? So it has to do with something mysterious, okay? Something that increases one's tension. So option B is the correct answer to this question. Question 55. In literary criticism, a casual reference to a figure or an event is regarded as a slash and dash. Option A, personification. Option B, metonymy. Option C, metaphor. Option D, allusion. Now, the answer to this question is allusion. Allusion is used when a circumstance or a situation, an event of unrelated context is indirectly referred to. Okay, when you refer to something indirectly, or it's also termed as a casual reference to something. So allusion is the correct answer to this question. But then when we talk about metonymy, metonymy is when a word is substituted for another that is closely related to it. Okay, so that's metonymy. But the answer to this question is allusion. Allusion is a casual reference, is an indirect reference. Metaphor is a direct comparison. When you say A is equals to B, and then personification is when you give the characteristics of a human being to an inanimate object. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Do you have several questions you would like to ask? Good news is there are several solution providers readily waiting to answer all of your questions. So go ahead and ask your questions by using the link in the description below. Click on this link, it takes you to my school website. There you can ask as many questions as possible and solutions will be provided to you within a short period of time. Now let's continue with question 56. A transferred epithet is popularly known as a slash and dash. Option A, epistrophe. Option B, ellipsis. Option C, hypology. Option D, endidy. Now the answer to this question is hypology. Hypology is a figure of speech where an adjective grammatically qualifies a noun or pronoun other than the person or thing it is actually describing. So when we think of the word epithet, we think of adjectives. Okay, epithets are adjectives, so a transferred adjective. So hypology is a transferred adjective. Option C is the correct answer to this question. Do you have better solutions, explanation, or steps you would like to share? Well, you can do this by using the comment section below. Indicate the question and the solutions you would like to share. Question 57. A dramatic type directed against an individual or a private institute with the intention to severely ridicule is called dash. Option A, satire. Option B, burlesque. Option C, caricature. Option D, lampoon. Now the answer to this question is lampoon. Lampoon is a harsh criticism. It is a direct criticism. It is meant to ridicule in a direct way. Okay, so it's a type of satire, but then satire has to do with criticizing a society, criticizing something that pertains to a society. Okay, burlesque has a comic effect. Caricature also has a comic effect. The answer to this question is option D, lampoon. Question 58. A novel written in form of a letter is said to be dash. Option A, Gothic. Option B, biographical. Option C, epistolary. Option D, autobiographical. The answer to this question is epistolary. Epistolary is a novel written in form of a letter. Okay, we know Gothic is characterized by oral. Biographical is a story about someone written by someone else. Autobiography is an account of a person's life written by himself or that person. So the answer to this question is option C, epistolary. Question 59. Adult's ambush ends on a note of dash. Option A, despair. Option B, bright aspirations. Option C, courage. Option D, uncertainty. The answer to this question is despair. Now, this poem talks about the problem facing Nigerians. Okay, we see people with lost hope, lost dreams, lost aspirations, and their dreams have been shattered by political ambitions, political class, and all of that. So we see that the poem particularly ends with the line, "When nothing happens towards the shore of possibilities." We see that with this last statement, the writer or the poet is locked or buried in despair. Okay, he has given up hope, he has lost the will to thrive or to continue living and all of that. So we see that option A is the correct answer to this question. Question 60. Use excerpt below to answer question. Now, beyond marble, heaven, in the due reverence of a sacred vow, I here enrage my words. Shakespeare's Othello. What incident ignited the excerpt above? Option A, the taking of a vow of revenge. Option B, Othello's rage about Desdemona's betrayal. Option C, Iago's conspiracy with Brabantio to kill Othello. Option D, Desdemona and Emilia's discussion on the lost handkerchief. The answer to this question is option B. Now, this statement was made by Othello on page 19. You find it in Act 3, Scene 3. Okay, what happened was that Iago had just told Othello that he found the embroidered handkerchief with Cassio. And this is the same handkerchief that Othello gifted Desdemona. Okay, this is the handkerchief he gave to Desdemona as a gift. Now, because of this, Othello was enraged, he was so angry, and then he made this statement. Okay, in this statement, he took a vow to have his revenge on Desdemona, who he thought betrayed him by having an affair with Cassio. Okay, so the answer is option B, Othello's rage about Desdemona's betrayal. This is what actually ignited this statement. Okay, that is the answer to this question. We've come to the end of this segment and I believe you enjoyed it. Do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button and tap on the bell notification to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.